Hi everyone, it's Luis Fernandez, and it's a Friday afternoon here at the office. It's a little bit past over 2:30, and just here having my little Core Power Milk, 42 gram of protein on my diet kick here. I'm trying to look the best that I possibly can for 2025, drop some weight, and I'm excited for this coming year, and so I want to be in the best physical shape possible, if that's possible, period. So, but I wanted to read you this article from Housing Wire, and it came out on December 19th, actually. It's by Mike Simonsen. And the headlines is that all those 2025 mortgage rates forecasts are now wrong. It's late December. And so all the 2025 mortgage rates forecasts have been published. Unfortunately, all of them are already wrong. Most housing market analysts expect mortgage rates to spend the year with a 6 handle. The most optimistic predictions assume 2025 will see mostly low 6s for the 30-year fixed rate mortgage. And yet, with pesky inflation data not falling as quickly or as far as expected, Fed Chair Jerome Powell suddenly changed his language in the Fed meeting on December 19th. The bond market got spooked, and the mortgage rates jumped back to over 7%. As the date of this recording, by the way, the rates right now are currently at 7.01%, and we are December 27th. Rates could still ease down, of course, and probably will at points during the year, but it's notable that 2025 is about to start with the mortgage rates in the 7s, and almost none of the folks who forecast mortgage rates included a 7 in their forecast. They're already wrong before the year even starts. This scenario isn't new. Most forecasters got the mortgage rates for 2024 wrong too. In late 2023, the 30-year fixed rate mortgage neared 8%, the highest level in decades. At the time, most mortgage markets observers expected the rates had reached their peak and would generally decline in 2024, stabilizing at perhaps 6% or lower by now. Unfortunately for home buyers in 2024, the mortgage rates have stayed higher for longer than anyone expected. Mortgage rates, as tracked by Freddie Mac, average at 6.72% across the calendar year for 2024. And let me tell you something that really hurt us in the real estate market. We actually experienced the least amount of transactions seen in the past 15 years across the country in terms of sales, and so we've had, there's no doubt that rates close to 7% has really hampered buyers and sellers everywhere. In some areas, even more so. But maybe forecasters will be less wrong this year. To their credit, for the most part, forecasters seem convinced that the rates will stay elevated during 2025. The consensus is that there are a few catalysts that will allow mortgage rates to drop into the 5s. A year ago, there were plenty of forecasters who were imagining a 5 handle, but by the end of 2024, that never arrived, and those chasing forecasters are less sanguine about next year. The consensus view for mortgage rates for 2025, even though is less optimistic than last year, even this year's outlook, almost none of the forecasters except Housing Wire published the expectation for the range of rates to reach above 7% during the year. And yet, at the end of 2024, that's exactly where the rates are. With recent inflation news and the Fed expressing less confidence in the rate cuts in 2025, the momentum is for higher mortgage rates into the new year. So if you're a buyer, don't wait around waiting for the rates to drop, because you just can't forecast that, unfortunately. And if you're thinking about selling your property, you've got to take that into the equation, because as a seller, you want to be ahead of the market, not chasing after it. Because if not, the only thing you're doing is helping your competition sell their property before you sell yours. It can be a tricky comparing apples to apples on forecast statements. Some forecasters state an average for the year. Some frame ranges with no average. Some are stated with quarterly expectations. Others are annual. The economics team at NAR, for example, has stated assumptions of near 6% for the year. Goldman Sachs strategists see it above 6% for the year. The economics team at Zillow expect rates to be lower at the end of the year with a plenty of bumps in the path. While still others, such as those from Realtor.com, discuss the average for the year to be 6.3%, ending in the year at 6.2. So there's a table that was been compiled for 2025 mortgage rates forecasts, and so they have Redfin here. The average they're predicting 6.8, Housing Wire 6.6, Goldman Sachs 6.5. Fannie Mae 6.45. So basically, and there's a Realtor.com at 6.3 and NAR at 6.6%. So this is the average. And the highest I'm seeing here is actually from Housing Wire at as high as 7.25%. And then Redfin is next at 7.2%. And then everyone else, even in the highest, they're predicting that around 6.6. 6.65, 6.8. So that hopefully the average is where we want to be, because if we're somewhere in the 6 and the 6.4, that really is going to make a big difference in stimulating the real estate market. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I think the economy is not as strong as I think people believe it is. People are watching their pocketbooks. That's for sure. I know I am. So you have to be careful out there in terms of what you're spending on, and in terms of luxury items. I think once more careful about doing those type of things. There's concerns of layoffs, and so I think that now that usually, though, however, historically, when the consumer starts holding back and they're spending, usually the rates do drop, because they want to stimulate growth. They want to stimulate buying power. So if the economy does turn into the first quarter slows down a little bit, that might be perhaps a good thing to get us into interest rates that are in the low 6. But then again, there's a lot of changes happening because we have a new administration coming in, and that's going to disrupt all the typical norms of a 1 year to the next. So we'll have to watch and wait and see what happens here. But listen, thank you so much for listening. To all of those out there, wishing you a very happy New Year. I hope you all had a great Christmas, and next year I'm planning to invite professional guests here on the podcast, and from their respective industry and the mortgage, title, and some economists as well, to get their insight. So bear with me. I'm planning to expand and hopefully make this much better, more entertaining for all of you out there. This is my first year doing this, so I apologize. It's not as professional as perhaps you were hoping for, but I'll just give you the straight facts of the information as best as I can. But anyway, so thank you again for listening, and continue to listen, because we're watching out for you in the best interest of your property. Until next time, all the very best. Bye-bye.